Anything you create, are you the biggest fan of it? If not, why the fuck are you doing it?
I know, and like I still struggle with that because you'll put out a video or whatever it is and like doesn't do well, and you're like, screw the algorithm. It's not the algorithm. It's you. Like you didn't like making the video. No wonder.
Yep, you just checked a box with this.
Don't blame anything else other than yourself.
Ever wonder how top DJs actually built their careers?
I had to do 15 years of hard work to get any of the recognition that I wanted.
Where I saw a turning point in my career is when I became true to myself.
From marketing and mindset to networking and negotiation, I'm giving you the tools you need to build a lasting career in dance music.
Give them bits of you and your everyday life.
You have to change the way you view the word no. Like me, I'm encouraged by it.
Join me, Olivia Mancuso, and industry leaders as we reveal what it really takes to turn your passion into profit. This is Elevated Frequencies. The last time that we did this podcast, we had only sold probably like 30 tickets at that point.
2 tickets.
Was it 2 tickets?
I feel like it was.
It was over the summer, and I was freaking out.
Yeah.
Because that was my first large-scale event that I ever did. And you told me, listen, this is how it goes. You need to relax. Everyone is going to buy a ticket in the last 2 weeks. And that's exactly what happened, and we sold out.
People were knocking on the freaking door.
Yeah, morning
Hey, can
off.
I get a ticket? Can I get a ticket? All of a sudden, my paycheck cleared.
And it's like, okay, well, why didn't you do that 2 paychecks ago? You get paid every other Friday.
That's the funny thing. I mean, what I remember us focusing on last year so much was like, we are really selling a dream. You know, like now we have a proof of concept, like it's sold out. And last year it was just like, hey, believe in us. And that was the really special part, I think, that we'll always think back to in the first year, because it was just you and I really believing in this. And I'm really excited to talk about it on episode 250, because when I think back to it, so many great things have happened on one-on-one conversations just in the world for us. But like, if you look back to meaningful things that have happened, it starts with just having a conversation. And that's the point of Nexus to me, is like having those conversations with people, because it feels so convoluted and gray when you're trying to figure out alone online. And that's like the point of Chicago Music Nexus and all these other artist-led integration and knowledge events, I feel like, that are going on.
And I want to talk about how it's opened up our world and how many opportunities we've gotten since then, because I want to show people that if you take the initiative to put together an event or something that you lead, it will open up so many doors. You have no idea.
You have no idea, literally. The people we're talking to now and the people that were looking or watching and interested that are like, yo, what you guys did is awesome. We want in.
I mean, so the purpose of this conversation is to talk about Nexus, but also frame it for artists to show them that they can do this too.
Yeah.
So after Nexus, we both got asked to moderate panels at Winter Music Conference.
Yep.
And that was because of Nexus. I mean, it's because of our individual efforts, but it's the universe and the industry rewards people who take initiative. Initiative takers.
Absolutely. And you have to do it consistently over a long period of time. People are always watching, I feel like, you know, and in that mindset, you feel like people are watching but doubting, but they're not doubting. No one's doubting. Everyone's just kind of waiting for someone to do the next thing. And when you actually do it on your own or with somebody and it happens and you follow through on it, it is like the most rewarding thing. And then people acknowledge that. That's like how you get gigs.
100%.
It's the same thing. You build a community on your own and people are like, oh my gosh, that's amazing, actually.
You have been ahead of the game of throwing pop-ups for a while, like your power hour even. Just like taking something and branding it and making it a thing and inviting friends over and getting content. That's like that's if we're talking about a scale of, you know.
That was a pop-up, wasn't it? Yeah.
It kind of was.
Yeah.
So if we're talking about a scale from that to like ADE, right? Like it's all a spectrum, but all of those things give you experience and it checks so many boxes, right? Like you're throwing an event, you're getting content, I got in
front of new people.
Yeah. You're
people
playing new music.
Yep.
Yeah, your own music.
Yep.
And so putting together an event, whether it's, and I just made a video about this, West Ends.
Oh my God, I would love to talk more about that
his summer day camp. The overhead on that is so low.
So
He was
low.
playing basketball at basketball courts. They probably had to reserve at the YMCA.
They're on like
for
Pier
25
57 fishing.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's like, it just blows my mind that artists who are not getting booked don't just try something like that, because there's no lose to it. You try. If it doesn't work out, no one shows up. If it's a low hanging fruit event, no one shows up to your basketball game. Okay, pick up your ball and go home.
I love that. And I feel like people waste a lot of time, and I definitely did, asking the question of what should I do instead of just doing it. And I think we get in our own way. Like, your biggest enemy is yourself, legitimately. Like, the way the world works and the way human nature is you're so concerned about yourself and what everybody else thinks. And that's okay. But the ego is not you thinking you're better than yourself. It's your head, it's your brain, it's your mind saying, you're not going to do it. Say, sorry, actually, I am going to do it. I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to try. And if I fail, at least I did it.
And the thing about like taking risks like this is when you commit, there was periods of time during putting together Nexus where, it was more me. Like, I was afraid about ticket sales and stuff.
Hey,
but the thing
I was afraid too.
You were comforting me more so than I was comforting you. But like, the thing is we put the deposit down, it was going to happen. You know what I mean? We put the deposit down on the space, it was going to happen regardless. But when you take that step, you take that initiative, amazing things end up happening for you. But so many people are afraid of just taking that first step.
Yeah, and I think you don't I think mentioning a financial obligation is one thing. Not everybody has the ability to even do that. So don't feel like you have to make a financial step. I think eventually you do have to take financial steps and investing in yourself, truly, like a monetary amount. But just by showing up and following through, and when you put it out to the world and feel like maybe the world's holding me accountable instead of me, it's like when people don't release their music, right? They're like, it needs to be on a label. It needs to do this. It needs to do that. Dude, what are you doing? Like, you're hiding your art under a rock. Yeah. No one's looking under that rock.
And no one's picking up the rock.
No one has
time or interest to pick up the rock.
Yeah, like there's a million Chicago Music Nexus ideas under rocks all over the world. And we just, that was pretty good.
That was
and then we just decided to say, fuck it, man, we're picking this up and we're going to build a bunch of rocks and it's going to be a rock castle and no one's going to come to this and not leave any stone unturned. And that was the coolest part about Nexus for me is people showed up. Remember in the opening remarks, like I had some stuff planned out and then I was like, oh my God, people are really here. Like, this is really happening.
Everyone showed up right on time.
They were right on time, which is the biggest miracle of all.
Yeah, no, that made me feel really good because I know it's hard to get a group of artists together on time for anything.
They were early.
Let's talk a little bit. Let's recap 2024.
Yeah.
Briefly for those who weren't there. So if, whoever's listening to this for the first time, they don't know what the hell Nexus is. So how it happened. I was on your podcast.
Yep.
And you said what an amazing experience you had at ADE.
Yep.
And we were like, why don't we do that here? Why has nobody done that?
Well, that only even came up, Olivia, because I have just been so impressed by you by showing up and doing your thing and like putting out content and like going against the grain and like, you got a lot of haters early on. And I think a lot of people get stumped by that. And, I knew you obviously for a few years before that, but never seriously. And when we finally connected like that, it's incredible to me what can happen in a one-on-one conversation, like I said, especially on a podcast. And I was like, the fire was kind of burning all of a sudden.
I was walking in my car.
Yeah.
And you text me like, yo, are you actually serious about this? Because I am. And I'm like, dude, because it's hard to find people who are doers, who are action takers. And that's why I knew right away. I was like, when you texted me, because we didn't know each other that well. We'd partied together a little bit, but I was like, okay, no, this is going to work. And we do have an amazing complementary skill set, which we can talk about because I think that's valuable to show people how to find your complementary business partnership. But
the conference aspect of ADE, and I was pushed to go to that. Like somebody had to push me, and I think that's what we're doing with Nexus. But to explain like the origin of it, I had such an incredible experience at ADE in 2022. I went with just an open mind. I went to so many panels, so many meetings, so many like lab things. And I was just taken back by the energy of the industry internationally and also how interested people were in the U.S. dance music scene. When I said I was a Chicago DJ, people damn near bowed down. And I was like, whoa. I was like, listen, man, like, we got our own problems in the scene too. Like, no, Chicago, like, you don't get it. Like, we love your guys' music in America. So interesting. And so the next year I was like, I got to be involved. I want to talk about it. I want to moderate a panel and have some influences from the United States. So I moderated a panel in 2023, which happened so much quicker.
That's crazy. You go 2022 and you're moderating that is how quick it can happen.
Yeah. And
people don't realize.
How I did it was literally by doing what everyone always says to do, which is DM. I DM'd Amsterdam Dance Event. They have like 300,000 followers.
I didn't know that.
Yes, I literally DM'd them. I think I did it like 3 or 4 times. And I was like trying to find like, okay, who, like, do they follow, and like messaging them. And you have to go above and beyond to do that sort of stuff.
Yep.
Eventually they responded and they sent me some blanket email. I emailed this blanket email. I kept following up. They sent me eventually some sort of Google form. Filled out this Google form, like, what idea do you have? And then I was like, oh my God, this is real. Like, what is my idea?
You're like, oh shit, I have to come up with something.
Yeah. And I was like, I run a record label in the United States. I'd love to have some female representation, maybe on the business side, and also, of course, some more A&Rs and maybe like a popular DJ. So they're like, this is great. This is awesome. Like, why don't we call it Tech House in the US? What's in it for you? And I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect.
Great title.
And they put us up. It was me, DJ Susan, who started Hood Politic Records, who is a good friend of mine and has grown so much even since then. Kaysen, who's the A&R of Repopulate Mars, which is a very, very successful label run by Lee Foss, or started by Lee Foss, who's from Chicago. And my friend Carissa, who has worked at Prodigy Artist, Confession. She now works at Trackstack.
Yep.
And she is awesome. And they put us all the way up the very top of the building, in this very hot building. And if you've been to Europe, you know they don't have air conditioning.
Yeah.
We had been out to like 5 a.m. the night before because it's Amsterdam Dance Week. And the room was packed. It was packed, like 100 people in there with 30 chairs. And having people ask us questions, like the Q&A part, is always what really enticed me about that.
Yeah.
It was just really humbling to know that, like, wow, what I'm doing, people care about. What I'm talking about, people want to know about. And like the line afterwards to talk to us all individually was just so cool. And we always reminisce on that, like how amazing it is.
Totally. And you wouldn't have known that there was that desire for the knowledge that you have unless you put yourself out there.
Absolutely not.
So, and that's the thing. People don't realize that they have valuable things to say and knowledge to share, but they just don't do it because they don't think that it's that special. I've been victim of that. And I think it's a lot of conditioning. Like maybe we have had bad bosses who have tried to, keep us below and keep us in line. Like that was definitely an issue for me when I was a news reporter. Or bully, whatever. So you feel like you don't have a lot of knowledge to share, but then you put yourself out there and you're like, oh my God, there's a hunger for this.
There's a huge hunger for it. And again, it's just by going outside your comfort zone. But that's why I was like, how is there nothing in the US? Because I wanted to go to Winter Music Conference in 2020 and then COVID happened.
Right.
And then it kind of kept rolling over until eventually I was like, I have to just get my money back because it wasn't happening. And then at that point I was like, nothing is happening in the US. This is a totally underserved community here because we know how much it's been growing in the US and the rest of the world certainly does as well. So we basically were like, dude, let's just do it.
Yeah.
Let's just do it. And we did it and we turned it around in less than a year.
Yeah. We had our first meeting, I think, in December of 20.
Shortly after,
23.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we met again like after the holidays and God, those early
meetings. When did we put
meetings.
the deposit down? Do you remember that?
I think that was like
January had to have been.
No, was it? Or
it must
February?
have been pretty quickly. I mean,
yeah, I can't remember. Maybe like February. Yeah, maybe February time.
Look, I don't even remember now.
I don't think we went anywhere else. We looked for a place in Chicago. It is very hard to find a place that'll let you use your own liquor, and with your relationship with Siege
Shout
Distillery.
out to Malort.
Yeah, so we did that, and we're like, okay, holy fuck, this is real. And those early meetings were just kind of like trying to get ourselves focused.
Yeah.
But we're like, okay, we need panels, we need panelists, we need marketing, we need this, we need that.
We need sponsors, we need donations.
It was crazy, but we're both very organized. And I think that's
You're much more organized than me.
So complementary skill sets.
Yes,
I think the
absolutely.
organization and logistics is really where I shine. And I don't even know why. It's just maybe being a woman. I think we are naturally
Your
more
boss.
like we're just more attuned to like that sort of thing.
Sure.
But you had these great relationships that brought in like key player, like Siege Distillery was huge for us to have all the liquor donated. And the more that we like dug into this, we're like, wait, we actually have a lot of relationships that can check a lot of boxes, get good prices on food, like, the DJs that we knew that were panelists. And so
that was really cool too.
Like to see it all come together and lean on community partners was amazing to see. And that's another point I want to make for artists who are thinking about throwing their own thing. It's pop up, but it's a workshop, whatever. you really don't realize how many people you know and how many people are willing to help out with an idea. Like if you have your shit together, people want to help out. They want to be part of it.
Yeah.
We actually had to turn down like people who wanted to help because we're like, we don't really know like what, like where you would fit in.
That's true.
So that response was really amazing.
So cool. You really felt the Chicago-ness of it all when we were putting it together.
Yeah.
People were like, this is dope. We love what you guys are doing. People believed in it. That was the thing. Like, they believed in the dream, and that's what it was kind of like nerve-wracking for us. We're like, can we execute?
Yeah.
And we executed outside of the SD cards.
Yeah. Or my makeup.
You just have to like trust the process and trust yourself. It's like when I have a big show, I'm nervous no matter what.
Yeah.
But the second, even for podcasts, the second it starts, it's muscle memory. And that's why like that's the repetition that you have to do, not just as like a creative, but like as a person. You just have to keep putting yourself in these situations that are like a little more uncomfortable and a little more uncomfortable. And that's how you get better.
I talk about that concept a lot on my TikToks. So like the fastest way to grow is to pick something, whether it's exercising or podcasting, whatever it is, pick something that's slightly outside your comfort zone and do that. And then that becomes your comfort zone. And then you do that again and that becomes your comfort zone. And so that's like a sustainable way to move the needle. And I mean, throwing an event at this scale was definitely outside of, but you've thrown events.
I mean, not like this though, like this had an itinerary. We had food. Well, we kept joking. I was like, are we getting married? And
it felt like a wedding.
People were like, when we were touring, they'd be like, are you guys getting married? We're like, no, we're both married. We're not doing this ever again.
Yeah.
Trust me, we're not like just seeing, what the prices are.
Yeah.
But that was actually kind of the funny part. Like, shout out to Maya and Freddie for like helping us and also like putting up with us and like all the millions of things that we just were like trying to figure out.
Maya was there early, like schlepping our signs.
Literally.
Like setting everything up, especially in my absence.
You know about bootstrap? I was mopping the floors afterwards.
You were mopping the floors. Freddie made all the charcuterie. It was.
My mom was cutting the fruit.
Yep. She's so great. My best friend and her husband, Ashley and Ryan, they were making store runs, like, cause we ran out of water or whatever.
About that.
Everybody pulled through and it just like really validated why it was such a special day. So programming last year, I feel like we really covered the full gamut of like what artists need to know now.
4 panels.
We had 4 panels. Monetizing your personal brand.
How did we come up with those ideas? Do you remember? I think they were things that we felt were important.
Yeah. And we wanted them to be actionable because I think like the community conversations around like culture and whatever is great. But if you're going to charge like $150 plus for a ticket, we wanted people to leave with something that they could be like, okay, I can apply that tomorrow.
Well, that's how I felt at ADE. Like I walked away literally with cards in my hands. Like the people that I waited in line to talk to, like that's how I did all those festival interviews at Ubby Dubby for Disco Donnie. It's because I waited in line to talk to that guy, Evan Bailey, who's a great guy, and I got his email. I had a conversation. I followed up with him for a year on opportunities.
That's so smart.
And I was sending him ideas.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. You got to know, like, you're not going to always walk out that next day with something, but you got to lead.
That's so pointing out one of your greatest skill sets, your greatest assets is you're relentless with the follow-ups.
I'm relentless.
I am not good at following up because I get irritated and I'm like, why haven't you responded to these last 7 emails? People are busy, but like, it's just human nature or like, what the fuck? But I think because you do sales in your real life, you're so used to it.
How do you become a priority? How do you go from 0 to hero?
Right.
And it's really tough.
So that's like one dichotomy I want to point out there is like, I have the logistics and organization. You have the sales chops of following up with people.
Both super passionate about giving back though too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When it comes to just like practical skills, I would highly recommend any artist who's trying to put something together is find someone who's the yin to your yang because otherwise it's going to be very hard to pull off an event. Yeah. And I'm sure you've experienced that with friends.
It's hard to do that.
I've experienced that when I used to throw events and, the rooftop drops, like there was just too many similar personalities, and it just wasn't good.
Yeah. So there's always an ego involved with stuff like that.
There hasn't been with us though.
No.
I think we just care about getting shit done. Because also when you put your names on the line, your reputation on the line for something like this, you can't be thinking about ego because you just got to pull it off. Yeah. Because if you don't pull it off, you fucked yourself. We have seen event producers even in Chicago, get a bad reputation.
Yeah.
Smaller event producers
Quickly.
very quickly, and then they just disappear because they weren't able to pull something off. And that part dawned on me like in the summer. I was like,
really?
It did. I don't think I ever shared that with you, but I was
No.
like, holy fuck, if something goes wrong,
Yeah, or it doesn't go well, then
our names are on the
we're
line.
cooked. Yeah.
So you got to be willing to do that if you're going to put on an event. And that's not meant to like scare people. That's supposed to motivate you.
I think people think like that though, so I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah. I can't believe I didn't tell you that.
I think we all think like that. I definitely do. I just kind of try and keep that out of my head. That's like, and it's important to know, like, ego can be used in a lot of different ways. Like, that is the voice that's telling you you're either better or worse, right?
Yeah.
So you have to like face that voice and just be like, I acknowledge that I'm having this thought or this feeling, and I'm going to appreciate it for what it is and work through it and learn from it and remember it. And I think a lot of people just like cower in fear of it or like reverse it into like,
right.
whatever, like I'm better than everybody else. And that's not what it is. You
No.
got to truly listen to what your brain is telling you.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, absolutely. That's I feel like I learned that in therapy a couple years ago.
Oh yeah, I'm very good in therapy. I'm a great patient.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say you're definitely soaking it all in.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So the marketing. This is another interesting thing that I think artists who want to throw their own event but have never done it before need to know.
Yeah, this was fun.
You need to be so creative with your marketing, and you need to be, and that doesn't mean complicated. It doesn't mean like spending millions of dollars. But you need to get creative. You need to think out of the box, use AI to help you.
Yep.
And you need to be relentless with it, like posting about it all the time.
Yep.
So our biggest thing was, how do we promote something that hasn't happened yet? We don't have any pictures. We don't have any video. Yeah. We're just living on a prayer.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that we ended up doing, which thank God it helped sell tickets, was we did the cringeworthy activity of doing man on the street or street interviews, whatever they're called now, at the Bean, at obvious places that were no DJs hung out. So we could get that engagement from people online to be like, there's never any DJs at the Bean.
I don't think any of those people were converted to, though people that we talked to.
Not the people that we talked to.
Which is the thing you have to think about. Like A plus B does not equal C always with content.
Right. It's just a means to an end.
Yep.
And those videos, my brother, Prapa at the time, edited those for us. They were so funny.
They are.
He made them way funnier.
Definitely.
I didn't feel funny that day. I was miserable. But he edited them so funny, and I spent like $30 promoting it to my Instagram story.
Yeah.
And it sold like 5 tickets.
That's awesome.
At $150. So think about that.
Yeah.
Think about that ROI. So we had to get so creative, and there's so many different things that you can do to promote an event. And DJs are always like, all the artists that I see there in my Patreon, they're so creative. They're always thinking of funny, a lot funnier than me. So you just have to be creative when you're promoting an event for the first time.
You do. Try everything. We tried so many different things. We did podcasts. We did self-interviews. We did man on the street. We did lots of B-roll interviews with all of the panelists and stuff.
Yep.
I think we just were throwing out ideas and trying everything and just having fun with it. And definitely was like frustrating because it wouldn't always convert exactly to a ticket sale.
Yeah.
And
it was just brand awareness.
That was the tough part. And, like you said, $150 ticket, right? So that was something I feel like we really went back and forth on. Like there's a difference between covering your costs and trying to be profitable. And like we've mentioned a few times how we like leveraged all our relationships. We put our families to work. Like we were not profitable, guys. Like just want you to know we were not profitable, and any money that was made was put right back into the bank account for next year to just continue to do that. So like don't think about profitability right away.
No, because
purpose is so much more important to start.
Purpose, and because you're building to a greater, like, don't just have a pop-up or an event or a workshop just for that. It needs to be contributing to a greater overall goal. What is your 5-year plan, 10-year plan? And then how does this event or whatever you're trying to do contribute to that? So you have to be thinking about the bigger picture. And you and I have both had goals of being in artist education long-term. And so this is a part of that.
True.
But I want to talk about now 2025, because by the time this comes out, we'll have made some announcements. What we're doing this year, which is really exciting. So it's all about, we've talked about this, all about having tangible opportunities when you leave, business cards, whatever. So for this year, You want to tell them what we're adding?
Yeah, very excited about a headshot station from our boy Travis Barron, who's done photography for Olivia and I, and he's awesome. So that if you're a new DJ or even an established DJ, I mean, or an artist at all, I see a lot of people with lackluster professional photos, and that says everything about you, you know? Like, and also working with a talented photographer that actually brings the best out in you, I think is so important, and cares.
He's a music industry. He DJs himself, so like, and he doesn't want his work, like he's very careful about how his work is represented.
Yep.
So he's not just, you know, clicking a button and taking a picture.
This is not a photo of graduation, guys. Like this is you like showcasing who you are.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited about that. And
I don't think I've seen it done.
No, I've never. I mean, are you kidding me? If I was someone going to Nexus, like even someone who has, I'm always thinking I need to update my headshots. I need to update
constantly.
If I can kill two birds with one stone like that, are you kidding me?
Yep.
That's amazing. So really excited about that. I think that's so cool. And the space itself, I feel like this year is very Chicago.
Yeah.
Like last year was cool because it was in the West Loop and like it was a cool like little, you know, 2-floor loft space area, but it's a pretty strong wedding venue. You know what I mean? But we made it a corporate event, so to speak. But this one, I feel like, even though it is a wedding venue, anything could be a wedding venue, I guess. It has soul, it has purpose, it has natural light, it has history. The bear has been shot there. Yep. It is super cool.
It's in Logan Wicker area.
We went back and forth. Let's let the people decide.
It says Logan on their website, but that's neither here nor there. It's in a very creative part of the city.
Yes.
So it's true Chicago. And it just the physical space is larger, and so it lends itself to more, you know, fun activations, which we're still putting together. But besides the headshot station, we have like the Fix Your Pitch station. So our incredible publicist who I stole from you, and then we stole for Nexus together.
Everybody's
PD Mac.
stealing PD now.
I know he's getting busy.
Yeah, he is.
But he's going to do like a Fix Your Pitch station where you basically tell him your elevator pitch of how you would present yourself to record labels or a manager or someone to book you, and he's going to fix it for you.
Yeah, and he comes with a plethora of experience in all of those worlds. He's worked with a lot of large PR companies, but he also is an artist and a creator himself.
Yep.
He has worked with record labels, artists, business professionals like you in the music industry. He works with festivals. He is very in the know. So I think it's a great way for artists of all sizes. And I want to continue to remind people, Nexus is not just for day ones. It's for year 10s. It's for year 5s.
And we had that last year. The survey that we did, I think it was like 20-30% had around 5 years of experience.
Yeah, and I think that's really where you hit a point where you're kind of like, what's my purpose? What's my why? How do I keep doing this? Because the first 2 years, I talk about this all the time on Sherm in the Booth. First 2-3 years are so much fun. It's new for you. You're getting new equipment. You're figuring out how to make music. Your friends are supporting you. And then all of a sudden, you feel like you're losing steam because you're not bringing as many heads in the door, and you're playing these shows that maybe you didn't really like anymore, and it's not as fun all of a sudden, and you're like, I'm just done with this, right? And then you get stuck, and then you're like, I don't want to give up. I put so much time in this. I still love it. And then you're like year 4 or 5, and this is where I was at Sherm in the Booth. I was like, is anybody listening? Like, does anybody care about what I'm doing?
Yeah.
And you have to flip the script and remember why you got into it in the first place, because you loved it. You were having fun.
Yep.
And I think that's a huge part of what Nexus serves, especially from a business standpoint. What was the number one piece of advice that panelists said multiple times?
Get a lawyer.
Get a lawyer.
Yeah.
I think one person in that room had a lawyer.
Yeah. Yeah, and that didn't include us.
You don't think about it. Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
And that's the brutal reality of being in the music industry is I believe there are wrong ways to do it, but there's no one path that is going to lead you down the path to success.
Well, and the soapbox that we're on is like, get all this business shit in order so that you can focus on the fun of it, the reason why, the passion that you have for creating, because so many artists just focus on that. And then, like you said, those things start to dwindle, right? Like, the kind of the hype around me is kind of dying down. And when you don't have those foundational business principles, like, okay, well, what can I do to like generate hype again? What sort of marketing campaign can I do? What can I do with this? Can I start a party series? Can I do, like, when you don't have those foundational principles because all you focused on was DJing and producing and having fun, that's when you're like, fuck.
Yep.
So what we're saying is build it parallel to your production DJing journey, right? Like learn the business principles
on your own.
And then you will never lose that passion because you know that you can like find different ways to support yourself. Like I know if I lost everything, all my clients, everything went to shit tomorrow, I could rebuild because I've learned.
That's right.
You know?
Yeah, that's so true. And I think just on that note, like when it comes to building your team, which was one of the panels that we did last year, which I constantly ask myself this question, and I think a lot of artists do when I want a manager, when do I want an agent, like you need to get a lawyer first. You need to have like your business in check because guess what? When you get a manager, when you get an agent, they're taking part of your money.
Right. You can't just automatically trust, like you need to make sure that, and I've, so many guests have said this, like before you hire out anything, know how to kind of do that thing.
Absolutely.
Not saying go be a lawyer, but like understand just legal, like basic legal things, right? With like contract terms or whatever. So you don't get taken advantage of because that's such a sad truth.
Yeah, you have to be your own greatest resource too. And it's a tough part of the industry because there are a lot of people out there that are trying to take advantage of you. And when people see talent, they know it. And those are the people that I feel like can be most susceptible to putting themselves in a bad place. So like, even if you have to jimmy rig all these things that you do, at least you know the concept of what you're looking for.
Right.
In a manager, in an agent, in a label, in a distributor, in a PR rep, like whatever it is, you need to have done it on your own first.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah.
Okay. So to kind of tie a bow on this, for anyone who wants to throw their own event, pop up, whatever, what would you say are like the first 3 steps?
I think definitely don't do it alone. Think that there's a lot of stress that goes into doing it alone. I've been lucky enough whenever I throw events, I'm able to do it with someone like you who actually doesn't have their, I don't want to say motives in a bad way, but like their own reason to do it. Like I threw my own events because I wasn't able to get house music gigs in Chicago. So I was like, screw it. I'm renting subs from Guitar Center and I'm bringing my 2 PAs and I'm using my CDJs and we're going to throw a party. I'm going to book my friends, right? So I was doing that with my friend Tony, who you'll meet actually, who helped me with the podcast and stuff. And so I think doing it with someone that you can really trust is really important.
Okay, so finding a trustworthy partner.
Making sure whatever you guys are doing has a purpose, like you said, and not to be profitable, because then you're just a bottle service club, right? The places that remain have purpose.
Yeah.
And so what is your purpose? What is your why? What are you doing it for? Who are you serving? Like really drill down on the specific person, even if it's you. And that's something that Abby from House Calls talked about that I like really resonated in me. And it's like, be fearless. Like I think about that all the time. And I texted her about it recently. I was like, I was fearless today about something. And it's because I remember you said that.
Yeah. Like
be fearless with your purpose. And are you doing something that you would go to?
Yeah. 100%.
You know, and that's what Nexus was for us.
Yeah. Yeah. That goes for anything, creating content, like anything you create. Are you the biggest fan of it? If not, why the fuck are you doing it?
I know. And like, I still struggle with that because you'll put out a video or whatever it is and like doesn't do well. And you're like, screw the algorithm. It's not the algorithm. It's you. Like you didn't like making the video. No wonder.
Yep. You just checked a box with this.
Don't blame anything else other than yourself.
Okay. So find a trusted partner, find a purpose, know your purpose deeply.
Yeah.
What's number 3 for you?
What's number 3 for you?
I think I'm going to take the logistics approach to this. I like this. This is why we're great partners.
Yeah.
So I'll say mine. So from a logistical standpoint, if you have a concept for an event, I would say
execution.
Yeah. I would say number 1 is map out your goals. What do you want to accomplish with this thing? If it's a pop-up, do you want to, get the attention of people who book gigs? Do you want to have a content opportunity?
Yeah.
Do you want event throwing experience? What is the goal? Could be multiple things, but figure out the goal. Number 2, start sourcing places that could be like the right venue for you. If you can go there, like hang out there, observe, see what people are doing. If it's a coffee shop, like how do people act? What do they wear? Like how long do people stay? What's the vibe?
Yeah.
If it's like a retail store, like what kind of music do they play in there? You know, so just start doing like your like boots on the ground FBI research.
Do your research. For sure.
And then number 3, and this is like a long number 3, it's like 3A, 3B, 3C, figure out how you can solve that venue's problem.
Yeah.
So how can you position yourself? Now for us, Throwing Nexus, a venue just wants their check and they want to make sure that we have insurance, whatever. So it's a little bit different. But if you're thinking about it in perspective of the people we were selling tickets to, how do we solve their problems?
Yeah.
And that's then how you position all of your marketing.
Yeah, by giving them a space. And I think when you throw a show or you help people, like you're filling a void, you're helping create that space. Like what are you putting there?
Yep.
And why would they want to go and why would they want to engage? Why would they want to pay?
Yeah.
It's like complicated, but it's also simple. And when you make it simple, like with your 3 whys or whatever, I think it's a great way to look at it, Olivia. And then you break it down from there, it starts to make sense as you really like construct this idea, whatever it is.
Yeah. Keeping the goal in mind and your audience in mind, especially if you're trying to sell something or just sell the experience, get people to show up. If it's a free event, getting people to show up. What's going to make them show up? How are you solving their problem? Are you giving them reprieve after a hard day of work? And oh my God, this cool pop-up's like right down the street.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, I've been stuck inside because it's been winter and now someone's doing something like on the pier. And so whatever it is, like if you just keep that in mind, the problems you can solve for people.
Yeah.
That makes you unstoppable.
And how magical was it truly, like when Nexus was going on and you see people engaged and taking notes? I'm like literally laughing in my head as I'm like listening to, you know, Terry Hunter say, fuck them.
Yeah.
And like everybody laughing and like every response Lady D said, like got a round of applause.
I know.
And then afterwards, like people lining up to talk to us, like that will never like not be special to me. The people that like, hey Sherm, I know you from this, or like the people that I've connected with at Nexus, as either they've become a fan or I've booked them a gig or they've connected us with other people.
Yeah, they joined my Patreon.
Like, I feel like, and that's the crazy part about all this stuff. It's such a big buildup. And then when it happens, you're like, okay, we're here. Thank God. But then when you really like take a moment to like live in it, you're like, wow, this is happening. This is great. Like, I mean, I was so cooked mentally by the end of that day in the best possible way.
But I know, and this is, again, for anyone who wants to throw their own event, like the more you do it, the easier it'll become because we won't be bootstrapping as much this year. We'll have more hired help instead of relying on, you know, our spouses to do the grunt work. You won't be mopping this year.
I'm willing to mop.
Of course, you always have to be willing to mop. But like we have a repetition in, and so I think it'll be a lot more enjoyable this year and a lot more relaxed.
Yeah.
And so that's the exciting part. Like it's only going to be your first time one time.
Yeah, that's true.
And then you get to do it again and you get to do it better.
Yep.
And
absolutely.
I'm just so excited for what we have planned.
What do you think is like a reason that somebody should come to Nexus this year as opposed to last year? Like what's something like maybe if they were thinking about it?
Yeah.
Like,
so one of the big things is the panelists that we are flying in this year.
Yeah.
Like
very
we
true.
put a really big emphasis on bringing in some, they'll be announced.
We can talk about some of them.
Yeah, they'll be announced. We've got Kai William, great friend.
Tell me about how that went, by the way.
So I moderated all the panels at his developed workshop, which was incredible. I was like taking notes. I'm like, all right, plants. We need plants on the stage. But he's an incredible person, and we kind of did this thing. I'll come do your event, you do mine.
Yeah.
And he's just locked in on artist education.
So cool.
Similar mission to us. Smaller event, like 40 people, more concentrated, but great event. So Kai William. We have Mario Danza, who's
God, my favorite guy.
I love people from the East Coast. I mean, I married an East Coaster, but like
did.
just everything about East Coasters, I just love them. Like I feel like I was an East Coaster in a previous life.
Me too. They're straight to the point.
Yeah, straight to the point. That's what Mario is. So he's
an artist manager. And he manages a lot of our good friends, Truth and Lies, now Sid.
So he's an incredible resource. We've got Daisy Santow from Wasserman, which is huge.
A real life Wasserman agent.
To have someone from Was is like big time. Like we were so excited about that. We have Prapa, of course.
Yes.
Brotherhood
who's
Politics.
On fire right now.
Yep.
He's going to be the world's biggest DJ by the time Nexus comes around.
Oh my God. I told him, I said, if you back out because you have a show, I'm going to wring your neck.
No, he's not allowed.
And then we have Emma Capotes, who is an angel.
Our North Star.
She is one of the OG festival content creators.
She's so legit. She's like the best example of what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
She's literally manifested all of the success that she's had by showing up every single day. I think I was on Rave Culture Cast 4 years ago or something like that.
She's been making YouTube blogs since...
The video that she posted, did you see that?
Of her progress.
I was crying.
I know, she looked like a little baby, and it's crazy.
Did.
Now she has a baby, and she still looks like a baby.
Yeah, she does look so young.
So Emma is an amazing content creator. We have Hope Lansing from Calculated Creative, who works with major artists, major festivals.
She had just landed in Paris for
DJ Snake. We're like, okay.
I was like,
oh my God.
Let me know how that goes.
Yeah. Who else do we have? John Curley from Oris.
John Curley.
Enough
said.
Very,
very important guy in the Chicago scene.
Enough said. We have Dan Mueller, who is also sponsoring this year GM Wealth Advisors. He is a finance bro, aka financial advisor, and also a DJ. And he loves giving financial advice to other DJs. So this is the guy.
That's
if
great.
you need financial advice, this is the guy.
Yeah.
And he was a Nexus Year 1 attendee.
Yeah, he was.
Turned sponsor and panelist, which I
love
fucking
that.
love.
Look at that.
That's
Shout out to Dan Mueller, man.
So cool. And then we have Rami Riashi.
Oh my gosh, I'm really excited about Rami.
Yeah, a local event producer, but has made national waves with his event series Rituals.
Yeah, he's got a plethora of experience too. He's a
Great
lot
friend
to
of
speak
ours.
on.
So that's just the first wave of panelists. We've
got even more coming.
So much more coming. And just the type of people that you don't get access to in a room. Mm-hmm. And if you do, you're in a club and it's you're not going to be able to talk to them anyway.
Yeah. And I think one thing that's really cool to mention is there's a lot more of these going on now. You were just a part of CEMC, Chicago Electronic Music Conference, which looked great, which was so cool. And obviously what you just did with Kai in New York is awesome. Winter Music Conference is back. I'm hearing about things starting to happen in LA, but Nexus is where it's at. Honestly, I'm telling you guys, it's legit. We're so committed to making it better and better every year. And we've always had a big vision. And it's really cool to see a scale like this, even just by 50 people at a time, or bringing in more sponsors. You want to talk about planning a wedding? I got a wedding block. We got a room block at the West End.
Which by request from one of my Patreon students.
Yes.
Because he was like, hey, I flew in from Austin and that was rough. And I'm like, you bet. This is the important thing. We are listening to your feedback and we are implementing everything that we possibly can.
Everything. What people said about what they wanted: longer networking hours, they wanted more access, they wanted visibility, and we aim to please and we aim to get better and better. And I think that's the most exciting part about Nexus for me, even looking 5 years down the road.
And this is also the important thing about being artist/creative driven events versus corporate events are great. There's no, obviously AD is our North Star for what we want this to be.
Of course.
But the cool thing is we're a lean but mean team. And we are talking to you guys constantly. You're telling us what you want. And then we're like, okay, let's do that. Mm-hmm. We're still in this stage where we can implement and execute what you're asking for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which, as you scale, that becomes less and less possible. But that's why it's good to get in with us now. Mm-hmm. Because if you want to see something there, there's a very solid chance that we can make it happen.
Yeah. And for those that came last year or are going to go again this year, one of the things that I found most valuable is people came in with I'm here to find this out or learn this. And that's so important to Olivia and I, that you can ask those questions directly rather than asking YouTube or asking ChatGPT or trying to figure it out on your own. People want to help you. And that's something that I didn't really actually understand until I started getting deep into Sherm in the booth.
Yep.
I was like, oh, this person's giving great advice right now, unfiltered. They don't have to talk about that.
Yeah.
And so it's it's out there for you. You just have to be the one to show up.
Right. and it's easy. And I said this in the last time we did this podcast. There's also an open bar and great food.
Yeah.
So like at the very least,
We got Professor Pizza.
Yep, he'll
we
be
got
back this
CH
year.
Distillery. We got System Seltzers.
Yep, we got Beatbox.
We got Beatbox. I mean, listen, we're gonna be turning up. Like,
Yeah,
once it's all
turning
said
up
and
at the
done.
end, the very end. We'll
Olivia,
save it.
Olivia will have a shot of Malort. She said.
No, I never said
You
that.
did last year, didn't you?
Did I?
Listen, if Shannon
remember.
from Sensophonics is ripping Malort with me, I think you can as well.
I can do it at the end of the night.
That's fine. Like before you go to bed. That's what I do every night.
You brush your teeth with it?
Okay, can I say something really quick? My phone blew up. Like it hasn't blown up like birthday blow up. When people found out the Pope was from Chicago, I must have gotten 50 or 60 texts about different memes of like the blood in the body of Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah,
is
being Malort.
Like it was crazy.
Do you
People were
know-
like, did you see this? Did you see this?
Do you know what I think is the funniest thing? Do you know about Tiffany Henyard?
No.
She is the former mayor of Dalton.
Mm-hmm.
And she used all of the town's money, the village's money, on like seafood boils in Vegas and first class tickets to Vegas.
What?
And she was on camera and like the reporter was like, "Did you do this?" And she goes, "Next question." Like she's like totally like not denying it. Anyway, yeah, her and the Pope were like basically neighbors.
Whoa.
I don't know for sure, but like Dalton's a small town and they're
Yeah.
both from Dalton. And so like the fact that the Pope and Tiffany Henyard, this former mayor, know each other is so funny.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Chicago's going to roll by, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally.
I think that's so funny.
Come for Chicago Music Nexus. Stay
Yep.
for the Malort.
Stay for the Malort.
And-
We're going to have after party access for you guys.
Yep.
And for those that maybe haven't been to Chicago before, I think it's a great time to come visit. I know summer, of course, is always more in demand, but as true Chicagoans, we can tell you like the holiday season's around Chicago.
It's such a
November
blast.
22nd again.
Yeah.
And, we were kind of battling with that date on like, what's a good date for people? And the first year we did it because it was like, we need as much time as we can plan and it can't be like in between the holidays.
Yeah.
And now we realize it's actually kind of the perfect date.
Yeah, because it's after ADE, before Art Basel.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And it's
So-
before Thanksgiving in the US. And
Yep. No excuse not to be there.
yeah, it's a pretty empty weekend for most people. Like
Yeah.
most people are going home for the holidays or for Thanksgiving that week. So we feel like November in Chicago is a really special time because when you grind it out from November until really May right now, and then everyone kind of enjoys life in the summer, it's like you prepare yourself again for it. So it's just like a good time of the year to lock in my opinion.
Lock in.
Lock in. We stay locked.
We do.
Super locked in, but make sure you guys get tickets to Nexus. It will definitely sell out. If it sold out last year, it's definitely going to sell out again. I don't
Much
just say
faster,
that
too.
because usually
Yeah,
I say
no.
it's going to sell out,
It
without
did.
any assurance
did.
that it might.
We had to deny people
We had to deny
the day
people.
of. So lock in.
It was a fire hazard.